who has asked themselves what in the whole ham and cheese going on around up in here. As you guys know, that is one of my catchphrases. I say that is my non cussing words. At any rate, just wanted to make sure that we tune in tonight. Um, so let the people know. Put your name in the chat. Um, leave your name. Well, Lord, get yourself together, Iris. Let us know where you're listening in from. I'm not coming on camera tonight. I've had a very busy day myself. We've had several sessions today with clients, and then I have classwork. I'm back in class, and uh, so we doing a lot of editing on some projects that I'm working on. Um, Personal projects for other folks. Uh, Design stuff. So I've been busy today. It's been a productive day, a good productive day, actually all week. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful because it didn't have to be that way. So while we're waiting to see who else joins us, again, we're going to ask that you put uh, where you're listening in from the chat. We got a couple commercials we're going to share with you while we're waiting. Let's see here. Here we go. Let me partner with you as you walk through this next chapter of your life. Let us unpack the blocks, the blind spots together and get to the next level, your divine purpose in this season. Let's help you shed the weight that distracts from you living in fulfillment. Meet me in my healing space. Confirm with me today. We are just wanted to make sure that we showed up tonight. How are you feeling? How you doing? Can you put in the chat? Let me know how you're feeling, how you doing, what's going on in your world, what's going on in your life. Have you taken your intentional breath? We're going to pause in this moment right now. We're going to take an intentional breath. Breathe. Pull it in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. Pull it in through your nose. Hold and exhale through your mouth. You know how we do it. Come on, we're going to pull in through the nose. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and on 5, exhale through the mouth. It is that breath that reminds us whom's and who we are. It reminds us that we are not junk. It reminds us that we are created in the very image and after the likeness of the creator of all life. So the intention for tonight is just to come in. There's a lot going on in our world. And I think a few weeks ago, not a few weeks before last, I was going to come on and do a what in the whole ham and cheese is going on. We got stuff going on in the news. Lord have mercy. What's going on? We've heard things all the way from Gladys Knight having a dementia per her son or the onset of dementia, and he felt that that they was working. I guess her current husband is working her against her will, and it's kind of been like, what, huh, what? Of course she is getting older, right? Of course she is getting older. She's 82 years old, I believe. But the voice is still strong as ever. Have you guys heard her sing? Her voice is still strong as ever. And I have to say that um, you can't take that away. It is my prayer, it is my belief, it is in my hope that she is not doing anything against her will. you know but it leaves us in the space of remembering how important it is to plan and prepare for the things that we don't like to plan and prepare for, talk about. And that is that one day we're all going to be getting maturing, getting older, uh, facing the inevitable, that we may need some support in our latter years. And so, how are we preparing for that? In one of our sessions, we talked about that in the caregivers care. No, the grief and loss. We talked about how, as a grief doula, what I do is I support you in the process of change and transition, not in just in the not in only rather not just as if it's not important, but not only in the transition of human life, but in the transition of lifestyle, in the transition from one season to the next season. How and then there may be a little slight grief process in that, right? Because you are shifting, especially if you have not taken the time to prepare yourself for, or you felt like you've prepared yourself. How about that? Because it is so much going on in our world. We thought we had our 401k. We didn't have any idea that Social Security was going to be in jeopardy. We have did IRAs, and we have done all these things to secure our latter years so that they'll be greater than our former years, only to find out that some of the things that we may have put in place may not be there. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be that way, but it does create the conversation, the feelings, and the emotions around what in the whole ham and cheese is going on around here. Social Security. How in the world can that be at jeopardy? And we've been paying in it for all of the years that we have worked, right? What are you talking about? What does that mean? Uh, so that's one thing. What you think about that? What you think about when you listen to this. You can put in the chat. Tell me what your feelings are around that. Have you even thought about it? So it's important that we take that time. I know I am in my beautiful age of what I am. Y'all thought I was going to tell you, huh? Yes. Well, I am in my beautiful season age, and I am having to make some adjustments. Some things, you have to live with. Some things are not turning out the way you may have anticipated, but we still got to find a way to make adjustments so that we can live comfortably. We can do some of the things that we need to do. There is some trends of thought, some belief systems, and I'm leaning toward it, to be quite candid with you, that we need to really consider making some shiftings, major shiftings, and how we're perceiving and how we're collaborating with our community to survive and live through this change that our country is facing, in our government, in our medical industry, FDA, in our educational system, in our communities. We have to really seriously look at how are we going to collaborate as a community, work together as a community, have things in place as a community. Some encourage the leaving of the country. Some encourage, if you're in red states, that you should be in blue states. Some encourage that if you have medical issues, challenges, that you make sure you are putting some things in place where you're able to survive and live if there is a dramatic change in access to medicine. So this is, what do you think about that? What you feel about that talk? Have you even thought about it, or has it been that you've been in such a space of fear, um, or just overwhelmed? Because the other part of all this is we have been hit. It's felt like 10 years. I think it's what, 6 months, 7 months now, and it feels like 10 years. We have been slapped with so much that sometimes it's a feeling of overwhelm. So, how are you embracing the change? What do you feel about it? Or have you just checked out? I encourage us not to check out. I encourage us not to check out. I encourage us to really take charge of our health, take charge of our life, our finances. And those things are not comfortable or easy to do when we have been living um, in a certain way. Excuse me about that. So, what do you think about that? So, we talked about the whole issue around with the sunset about Gladys Knight and her satellite years, and how I did look at her schedule, and it looks like she's just staying in the eastern states. She's not doing a countrywide around the circuit, around all the states, just several, I think 4 or 5 states, um, Carolinas, and I think it was Atlanta City and some other. So it's not many states. And, if she's strong enough to do it, by all means, let her sing and let her do her thing, because her voice is still there. The other thing is, what do you feel about, you know, the state of Social Security, the state of our medical world? What do you feel about the current state of our communities? What do you think about this whole thing of, what do you call it? Lord, my brain just went blank. What do you call it? They sending in the troops into our cities, and it just it came back with the government that it was illegal for them to send them here. Put in the chat. I don't know why I just went blank. What do you call the troops? Yeah, troops. Well, I guess you can call them the troops. Here we go. National Guard. There it is. The National Guard. No ask. But yeah, the National Guards. What do you feel about? What are your thoughts around National Guards coming into the communities, into our cities? What are your thoughts around that? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think we need more policing? What do you feel about that? I have my personal thoughts. I think that it's not needed. I think we're setting ourselves up for for more control. Um, and we definitely don't need the National Guards to come in to do what the city and the state is doing, unless it is an extreme emergency. But I don't believe that that is what's needed at this point. What do you think about ICE and the immigrant situation? And so when we talk about immigrants, a lot of people are hyper fixated on Mexico and Mexicans, the Hispanic and Latino community. But when you talk about immigrants, you got immigrants from Europe, and you don't hear much conversation about those people being deported. You have immigrants from other countries, China or Asia, the Asian countries, the Asian parts of the world. So you have, of course, Africa, of course, the islands. So you have immigrants that are here in the United States from more than just Mexico, but we seem to be hyper fixated on the Mexican border. Now, I guess with reason. We have our feelings. We may have our feelings and opinions about how the process needs to be done. But what we are seeing, children being snatched away from parents and are left without parents. And then they had this situation where they were taking them into the alligator in Florida, where the alligator prison system is. And I remember hearing at one point when number 47 walked through, he said, well, maybe this will encourage them or detour them from trying to escape. What in the whole ham and cheese did that mean, right? These are human beings we're talking about. So, how important it is that we remember that we're talking about another human life, another human life. Um, so, what do you think about that? Put in the chat. Let me know what you think about that. Um, yeah, give me your feedback, and I promise you, I will come back and and we can I'll comment on it and reply to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. We have our upcoming. Uh, let's see. Let me check it out. We have our upcoming support groups. That will be featured this month by Center of Empowerment, Coin PM, and of course, I will be your facilitator. And so, our young people, our children's, our kiddos, as some call them, have returned and are back in school. And so, we are looking at the mental wellness of educators and students on next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Yes, next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. The mental wellness of educators and students. We just had another shooting on a school campus, school-age children from another child that came on and unalived, shot up the school, unalived several children, and himself, only to learn that this child was obviously and definitely in crisis. I'm going to say in crisis. Um, I don't know if it's true. I have to go and do a little more research on. I actually believe it is that it was a transgender child, or young person, and they went back to the Catholic school, and it was some, and unleashed. So, as much as we may not want to have conversations around what is defined as the uh, LGBTQIA community, I personally think that the labels, we need to take labels off and look at folks as human beings. I think that the labels puts, as we already know, as a community, puts an added layer of social uh, disconnect. If we can get to the place of seeing human beings as human beings, period. Their gender and sexual orientation is not any of our business. And whatever your spiritual, religious, cultural beliefs are, perhaps what we need to learn to do is see a human being first. And if we come from the space of that person came from uh, uh, a parent, okay, and is a life and has the breath of God in them, just like you and I. And so we are all, regardless of what you think and feel about it, are created in the image and after the likeness of the creator of all life, period. And the rest of it, when we start learning how to love and respect, even if you don't care for choices and decisions, even if you don't care for lifestyle, respect the other human being, I believe we will find that our children and our young people and those that are in distress can find hope and healing. I made a post on our Instagram Coin PM, and I stated it was an advertising for our next week program, mental health, mental wellness of educators and students. And what I stated in that post is, if you as a parent and or an adult, listen to me, hear me out. If you as a parent or an adult is a high functioning high depression, functional high depression, what does that mean? You get up and you show up and you perform. You're depressed, but you get up, you show up, and you perform, right? If you are that person and that is what you are doing, you want to make sure and be clear and understand that the behaviors that you're exhibiting, the behaviors are also being taught to your child and your children and to our young people's community. So it is important to recognize that if you're a high functioning depression, you are teaching your children, how to do the same. And so we have to learn how to break that cycle. And when I say break that cycle, how do we find rest in our mind, our body, and our spirit so that we're not functioning in depression? And so, what does that look like? What does high functioning depression look like? I just said you show up and you do anyway, but you're overeating, over drinking, over sexing, over spending, binging. Uh, you get up just enough gumption and strength to show up and do what you need to do. You're ignoring your health, ignoring other responsibilities, but you are showing up. That's high functioning depression. I just paraphrased it. I didn't give you none of the medical terms, okay? It's high functioning depression. You may be top notch at your job, doing very well, but in your personal life, um, you feel it's falling apart. It's not. It's toxic. It's not functioning at high levels. So then on Thursday, September the 18th, we will be talking about empty nesting caregivers. We'll be talking about empty nesting caregivers. And then on Thursday, September the 25th, children, teenagers, young adults, and grief from loss. Children, teenagers, young adults, and with grief from loss. And so that discussion is definitely going to be around. Oftentimes, we talk about the adults and we are dealing with our grief and loss, but sometimes we miss and don't see the effect that it's having on our children and our young people. And what that looks like oftentimes grade slipping, um, excessive game playing, excessive sleeping. Those are some of the things you can see that will show up in children. Snappy in terms of how they're responding and talking to you. Alrighty, so that's on September the 11th, September the 18th, and September the 25th. We will be also all month. Our topics will be around educators, students, and parents. Okay, so make sure that you tune back in and you share. And share and let the folks know that we're gonna be here. All righty. All righty. With that said, I want to thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate you. On September the 14th, somebody say September the 14th. Let's see. Do I have what I'll do? Let me do this. I wanted you guys to hear this for a little bit, and then I will tell you what's happening on September the 14th as it pertains to my book signing that's going on here in Pomona, California. Yes, I'm a part of okay, where is it? It's not coming up. I am a part of an anthology, Greatness is Your Journey. And yours truly, Iris, excuse me, has worked with 12 other women who are sharing from our hearts our stories of overcoming and not just resiliency, understanding that you have resiliency and then you also have toxicity. So you want to make sure that we're not being resilient in toxicity, but that we're being resilient in transformation and overcoming, right? And shifting the trajectory of our self, our families, and our community. Okay, here we go. Let me find it. Here we go. I am. Oh, we can't do that. All right. That's not letting me do that. Uh-oh. I think I just made it. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, you guys. I just made my screen do something weird. Here we go. Uh,
I remember years ago hearing this song, Sleep is the only freedom that she knows. And it was talking about a young girl growing up in a community, um, and the struggles that she had. And I thought to myself, wow, sleep is the only freedom that she knows. It just goes to show that, especially among the Black community, the whole entire Black diaspora on this planet, we are products.
Yes. I'm Rumor Willis, and I'm here to talk to you about.
Of a system of slavery and oppression. And so we were enslaved. Our main role was to work. So rest is literally rebellion. And we still feel a lot of guilt around rest. And so the average mother, grandmother, great grandmother figure, we never saw them rest. When we would wake up at 4 or 5 a.m., they would be up, food would be cooked, and the house is ready to go. So there were a group, probably 2 or 3 generations since slavery, that really never truly rested, never understood even the concept of relaxation, never understood how important sleep was because they were always hyper vigilant, whether it was around protecting themselves from being molested by the slave master, protecting their boy and girl children in the night, protecting their families from being attacked. Can you see how sleep and rest was something that was so distant and remote from their lifestyle? So a whole 2 or 3 generations have grown up being hyperstimulated, hypervigilant, and not being able to relax. Then when the enslavement part fell away, then it became hustle culture. I have to work 4 or 5 jobs just to keep food on the table and a roof over my head. And that is something that the West Indians are very strong with. They go to the US or they go to the UK and they have to work 3 or 4 jobs to make it all work. So again, we see that this culture of not resting is pervasive right through for both male and female. In the middle of hustle culture now comes technology. So now we have digital technology keeping us up. We're scrolling, we're watching videos, we're watching Netflix, we're doing the most to make sure that we are uh, up to date on what's trending. We've watched the latest episodes of this Netflix series or that Netflix series, and we don't realize that what we are doing is actually detrimental to ourselves. Our body was designed to be switched on during the day and switched off at night so that we can sleep, our organs can repair, our nervous system can relax so that we can be ready to go again tomorrow. But what is happening? We're constantly on. We wake up, our alarm wakes us up, we jump up with a jolt, we don't take any time, we rush into work, we're in a hyper-stimulated environment right away, whether it's in traffic or on the subway, and everybody's angry because everybody's late and somebody's bad driving, somebody road rage, so we're switched on. And then we go to work, and there's the pressure at work of performance and interpersonal relationships that are conflicting. And then we leave work and we come back home. And we have to prepare meals or we have to go pick up the children. We have to take care of the children's stuff. We don't get any downtime. We don't get any rest time. And the frightening thing is that Everybody's on autopilot. So nobody is even realizing that they're go, 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 go. They're on, and they're not even able to switch off because it has grown to be our normal. This is our normal. Being switched on anytime is our normal. And this is the challenge. We are now required to understand that rest is sacred. Rest is critical for the optimal functioning of our bodies. If we don't rest, we don't repair. Yeah. Now they're finding out that this blue light that we're taking in with our devices is messing with brain chemistry. If you're on the device after 11, certain um, hormones and secretions that are supposed to take place in darkness when the body's at rest are not getting the darkness and are not getting the rest. Okay? So when we start to hear of these rare diseases and rare cancers, these are brought on by our lack of rest, our being tapped into these devices 24/7, our body's inability to just relax and feel safe. If we don't feel safe, we are going to be producing certain chemicals. Fight.
What do you guys think about that? Rest is sacred. We're in such a hustle culture, which is what you know, we were kind of talking about earlier when we talk about dementia is at an all-time high. Alzheimer's at an all-time high. Inflammation disease is at an all-time high. So-called ADHD with our children is at an all-time high. Um, what do you think about that? People are on edge, road rage at an all-time high. What are your thoughts on that? Put it in the chat. This is why when I start my day, and let me be completely honest here, there are times when I get up moving and I don't do my pause and I don't set my day with an intentional breath, with prayer and meditation. And those are two distinct things. Prayer and meditation, giving myself an opportunity to set the day and to move in calmness, move in clarity, speak in the authority in the ownership of spirit, in the ownership of my divine creative power. And so then I notice the difference in my day. And then when I get in and I lay down, if I am not resting, if my rest is to watch a program on TV or to veg out on TV or to fall asleep on TV. She was talking about how we are so plugged into our devices, into our programming, to our so-called reality TV and news feeds and this, that, and the third. And so if we are so plugged into that and going to sleep with that, are we really resting? Are we really resting? I've been going to sleep since my child has been home for the summer. We've had a beautiful time for the first time in a few years, as a matter of fact. And it's for a lot of reasons that I was able to really pause this summer and spend some healthy time with my child, and healthy quality time. And so what he did, he says, "Mom, try this." And it's not that I didn't know that you can listen to certain sounds and it sends you into a deep sleep, but it's a specific sounding that allows you the rest. It's a sound. It's called black light. What is it called? Let me look it up and see if it comes up. And what happens is the screen goes black and it's just soft music in the background. So there's no TV reflection, no TV radiation from the light, that is, that's infecting your sleep, your brainwaves. So you're allowing your body to really go into a deep rest, a deep sleep. Rest is sacred. Rest is sacred. Um, Going to sleep is one thing, and if you're waking up every hour on the hour, you're not really getting through the night. Having hot flashes, waking up, that happens as we get older. Um, Having to go to the restroom, so you're not sleeping straight through the night. And if your TV is on in the background, you're hearing something. You're hearing conversation. So your brain, your mind, your body is not truly resting. Resting is sacred. Many of us have seen our elders, our ancestors who have gone on to the next dimension. We saw them work tirelessly, consistently. Um, we saw the breakdown of their bodies. We watched their bodies break down, and they still got up and went to work. We saw relationships fall apart, and they stayed in them as toxic and unhealthy as they may have been on both parts. Our grandparents, our fathers, our grandfathers, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts, our uncles. We watched it, we saw it, uh, and we vowed. Some of us vowed that we would never live like that. We would never stay in situations that was unhealthy like that. And so, what many of us have done is we have not perhaps stayed in situations like that, but we still haven't allowed ourselves that space of healing and rest to recalibrate, to align, to shift, have a sacred shifting. Yeah. Yeah. So put in the chat. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you think about this. I thought this was so dynamic. You ready for a little bit? I'm going to give you a little bit more, and then we're going to go on and get up out of here for tonight. Give me just a second here. There we go. There we go. Here it
Fight
is.
and flight chemicals all day, all night. That's going to lead to cortisol buildup. That's going to lead to all sorts of insulin resistance and all sorts of other things that we wouldn't immediately think of when we think of lack of rest. What happens also is that by the time we get to a certain stage, we can no longer connect with another human because we are on autopilot. We're not even feeling anymore. We don't feel tired anymore because we know we don't have the option of being tired. We have to go to work. We have to get the children to school. We have to get food made. Yeah. And so we are not resting. And then there's the party culture where we go out and we party for an entire weekend, every weekend. In fact, we don't even take a break from partying at a certain age. And that is not sustainable. The body can party, but the body was not really designed for every weekend partying for 6 years. It takes a toll. So it begins to take a toll at the physical level. Then it starts to take a toll at the mental, emotional level. It can also start to take a toll at the familial level, relational level. You know, your capacity to be able to navigate challenges is diminished because you are exhausted. Your capacity to communicate in a calm.
Is every person who works at a desk doomed to get a neck hump? Not if you do this thing. I always thought that the weird neck
Neutral way with grace and empathy and compassion, that's gone because you are constantly in fight and flight. You're in defensive mode. You are rushing. You are exhausted. You're operating outside of your body because you are You just know that you have to be on time and present. But your mind is exhausted. Your soul doesn't even know where to go. So we have a duty to carve out, very selfishly, time for rest. I see it creeping in where people are talking about self-care, and that is beautiful. But then I start to see definitions of self-care, meaning getting the hair done, getting the nails done while you drink champagne. The body needs rest. The body needs a little bit of solitude. The body needs quiet. Yeah. So sometimes we're sleeping and we have this TV on, giving us all this EMF frequencies, blasting us, so we can't truly sleep. So we don't even know what rest is. A whole generation.
So there it is. Just what we were just talking about, right? Leaving the TV on when you're resting and not really giving yourself that opportunity to genuinely rest. And I loved how Paula Herlock brought up, what is self-care? What is self-care? I'm asking you, what is self-care? What is self-care? Many times we see self-care as, like she was talking about, getting her hair done, her nails done, going to a movie, going to your favorite restaurant. But what about rest? Put in the chat, what is self-care to you? I have learned, and I am learning, and I am embracing the beauty of being okay with how things are. So what do I mean by that? Because some would think that means to accept when things are not okay, accept bad behavior, accept poverty, accept lack, accept sickness. No, that's not what I mean by that. What I mean is I acknowledge what I see, so I acknowledge it. I recognize the power that I have in what is going on in my life, in my surroundings, in my world. I become aware. I allow myself to feel what's happening. Yes, many times we're unable to allow ourselves to feel what is happening because we are afraid of the feelings. Yeah, we're afraid of how it may bring us down, or we may cry, or we may get stuck. No. What I mean by that is I allow myself to feel it. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I'm angry. What in the whole ham and cheese is going on? What in the freaking fracking flip just happened? I dare you. I dare me. I dare it. I allow myself to acknowledge it. I'm learning to stop saying I won't complain, because what we have associated expressing our authentic feeling in the moment as a complaint versus rather than, this is what I am experiencing and feeling right now. It doesn't mean it's going to stay like this. Doesn't mean it's going to always be this way. It doesn't mean I got to sit with it for an infinite amount of time. What it does mean is I acknowledge it. I take a deep breath. And then I remember what I have control over. Got that? What do you have control over in your situation? In what you're feeling? I have control over my feelings, because we all know feelings will change with the wind. I can feel one way. I felt one way before I started this show tonight. I feel a whole different way right now. And do you know why I feel a whole different way right now? Because I knew that I probably needed this more than you. I knew I needed to show up and share and have this conversation, probably more than you. Yeah. And I'm willing to allow myself to be open and transparent, and to bring voice, to articulate what you may be experiencing, thinking, and or feeling, so that not only I heal, transform, it trickles out, it empowers inner power. I'm moving inner power purpose, and it inspires my surroundings, those who may hear this. Yeah. So with that said, I pray that you got something out of tonight. I pray that you share. I pray that you think about what is self-care, what is rest, the sacredness of rest. Try turning off the TV. Try allowing yourself that opportunity to recharge and regenerate. Solitude. Why are we uncomfortable with solitude? Why are we uncomfortable with being still? What's the uncomfortableness about being still? Yeah. So with that said, again, thank you. Again, on let's see, do I have it on September the 14th? Somebody say September the 14th. I will be having a book signing, a part of a book signing. Greatness is your journey. My section of the book is titled "It's Never Too Late." There's 12 other chapters with 12 other queens who share, and I'm telling you, there's some powerful stories in the book. It's an anthology, a total of 13 women sharing their experiences of overcoming insurmountable odds and difficulties and challenges and getting to the other side. And sometimes we get to the other side to find out that there is a next. And being okay with there is a next. So we hope that you join us on September the 14th. For more information, I will, maybe what I'll do is put it in the body of this broadcast. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. We will be back next week with the mental health and wellness of educators and students on next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, we thank you and appreciate you for stopping by, for listening. And that was Paula Herlock. We listened to Paula Herlock tonight that shared some really powerful insights on rest and where we have gotten into the habit of just having to be on all the time, having to go, do, and be all the time. You're worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of the best that's been placed in this universal realm, this earthly realm, to experience. You're worthy. All right. Blessings. Again, don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to like and share. And we will see you on the next go round. Peace and blessings. Let me partner with you as you walk through this next chapter of your life. Let us unpack the blocks, the blind spots together and get to the next level. Your divine purpose in this season. Let's help you shed the weight that distracts from you living in fulfillment. Meet me in my healing space. Confirm with me today.